It's finally happened, everyone. BMW has just unveiled the new R1300GS. After years of teasing and talking about it, we finally got the details. And here they are in a bite-sized video without any flim-flam or waffle, apart from this bit. Let's get straight into it. Now, there are a few surprises in the press pack for the new GS, first of which for me is the weight. It's actually 12 kilos lighter than before, making it 237 kilograms, ready to ride, wetter than an otter's pocket, if you will. This doesn't cover the adventure model yet, though, this press release. It is just the basic GS, so that will presumably be a bit heavier with a bigger fuel tank. The fuel tank on this new one is actually 1 litre down before we get to that. That's 19 litres of fuel in this bike rather than 20. BMW says it's as economical as before. Now, in terms of chassis, just very quickly, we've still got a tail-lever front end and a power-lever rear end, but they are completely redesigned, apparently. Lots of complicated new bearings and things that I don't fully understand, but apparently it's got improved roadie holding, it's like me cupping myself, and better handling as well. But the main thing that I think we're all excited about is the all-new engine. Yeah, we've got an all-new 1300cc Boxer twin. It is exactly 1300cc on the nose. It's not 1301, it's 1300, and it's now got 145 horsepower, which is up 9 horsepower on the previous bike, and 149 newton meters of torque. It's still got a 9,000 RPM redline, and it's still got shift cam technology as well. Now, some of the big weight savings on the new GS has come from the gearbox, which doesn't sit behind the engine anymore. It sits underneath it, cupping it, if you will. And I will. And apparently the new gearbox is quite a bit lighter than the old one. The whole powertrain contributes to a 6.5 kilogram weight saving over the old bike. So exciting. Another small little detail as well, the optional, annoyingly, quick shifter uses a new torsion magnet setup for more precise shifting, and hopefully it's a bit less clunky than the one on the old GS. Now, we'll get onto the looks of the bike in a little bit, but one of the things that's been known about this bike for ages is that it's going to have radars front and back, a bit like on the Ducati Multistrada V4. So yeah, the front radar and rear radar are, unsurprisingly, an optional extra because it's a BMW, keep up at the back, but it means you're going to have radar cruise control, you're going to have lane departure warning, and you're also going to have blind spot warning as well. So it will light up a little orange light in the mirrors if there's a car coming up in your blind spot, but otherwise it's radar cruise as we know, and if you've used it, hopefully love. I find it takes some of the stress out of long rides, and this new GS is going to have it as an option. Don't know how much it is yet though. Now, here in the UK, the R1300GS is going to start at just under £16,000, but BMW is making a bit of a song and dance in the press release about how much more standard equipment you're going to get with the bike. So you are going to get these things as standard, and I'm going to read them off my phone. You're going to get heated grips, you're going to get keyless ride, including a keyless fuel tank. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry, it's now standard equipment. You're going to get cruise control, not radar cruise control standard. You get a new lightweight battery, which I guess is part of the weight savings, and you're going to get handguards with indicators in them as well, so you don't have to upgrade those. It's great. Now, in terms of the ergos of this bike and seat heights, BMW says this is the leanest GS yet, so they tried to make it a bit more compact, I think, a bit more approachable. So seat heights on the normal pure GS is 850mm. There's the green option 719 Tramonta. The green one with gold wheels in these photos is the Tramonta, apparently, or the Tarantula. Then we're going to have the triple black, which is apparently the masculine machine. It's not very 21st century, is it, BMW? And there's the GS Trophy as well, which is the one with the rally seat, the damage protection, all that kind of stuff. And the seat heights on those will vary, but the base one is 850mm. And there's obviously going to be loads of option seats as well to make it lower or higher, depending on your needs. And it's the biggest selling big capacity bike in the world, isn't it? So BMW's going to give you seat options. Now, there are some upgrades to the suspension as well. So dynamic suspension is still an option, but it can now adjust, apparently, the spring rate or the impression of spring rate dynamically as well. So when you're chucking extra luggage and things on the bike, it can cope better with it. Another thing it's got, which is stolen from, I guess, Ducatis and things like that have had this, is the adaptive vehicle height control. Now, this can drop the seat height from 850mm, like I said, to 820mm at a stop and at slow speed. So if you are shorter of leg, it can drop the bike down for you, again, to make it more approachable. BMW says it happens more quickly, the drop, than other systems, and more imperceptibly. So I guess it's smoother or something, the way it drops down. You can also customize the system so you can have your bike stay in permanently high or permanently low modes, depending on your leg, I guess, and your inseam, and whether you like your bike lower or higher for most of the time. BMW says it will automatically do it though, but only when it makes sense. And speaking of suspension, there's another option as well, which is sports suspension. It doesn't make it firmer, it doesn't make it harder. It gives you an extra 20mm of travel at each end of the bike. So if you're going to be taking your GS off-road, that'll be the one to tick. But hey, I guess the Adventure will probably do that as well. I'm not sure when that's being revealed, by the way, probably in a couple of months. Now let's have a quick break and talk about braking. We've got new BMW branded 4-piston calipers on the front. I don't know who makes them yet, but apparently they're new, they're completely redesigned and offer more stopping power than before. And now the GS also gets integral ABS Pro as well. And this is essentially a linked brake system. And BMW is very explicit in this, that when you grab the front brake, it will be giving you some back brake. And when you use the back brake, it will be giving you some front brake. So I don't know if that puts you off. It does say you can still put in off-road mode and do some dank rear wheel skids though, which is important for off-road control. In terms of economy and performance, BMW claims this bike's going to get about 58 mpg. It does say also that it's going to get the same fuel economy as the 1250, despite the bigger engine, by the way, which is a bigger bore and a shorter stroke. So I forgot to say that in the engine bit. So it might be a bit revvier, not really sure. So I've worked this out and it's going to give a tank range of about 246 miles on a 19-litre tank in optimum conditions. I guess in the real world it's going to be more like 210, 220, but obviously again the GS Adventure will probably be coming, which will do your 300-mile days. Right, electronics time. I'm definitely going to have to read from my phone for this. Well, first of all, there's the LED headlight on the front of the bike, and it's got that distinctive X-shaped light around it. That's the daytime running light. You've got one LED unit for high beam and one LED unit for low beam, and there's optional cornering lights as well, which can make the main beam turn into corners as you turn, and it stays relatively flat, it says. It doesn't say it stays totally locked to the horizon. BMW says it stays relatively level. There's an option for the lights as well to add things like coming home lights, so that's when you get off the bike at the end of the day, the headlights will stay on for a little bit so you can wheel it into the garage without tripping over your cat litter tray and face planting in some sort of the, the mess. Haven't covered electronics yet, and that's kind of because they're not quite as changed as the chassis and the engine. You've still got 6.5-inch dash, the beautiful BMW dash, but it does now have the lean sensor stuff on it, so you can see your maximum record for leaning the bike over, like you get on the M1000R and things like that. You've also got a USB-A socket in the dashboard now, as well as a 12 volt, so you've got more accessory power at your fingertips for riding along without having to use a million billion adapters to charge your heated gloves or whatever. One of my favorite things in the press release is that BMW says they will actually sell you a USB cable. Not just a USB cable, a BMW USB cable, which has, and I quote, sturdy kink protection. And as I've mentioned, it's got a lightweight battery standard, which apparently saves 2.5 kilos over a normal battery, and that in my head raises alarm bells. Plugging lots of accessories into this bike, is it going to drain a smaller battery quicker? While BMW says you can monitor the status of the battery using something called battery guard function. They don't say any more than that, so I don't know if that's on an app or on the bike or whatever, but apparently there's a way to monitor the charge of your battery. I guess there always was. It told you on the dashboard. I should just quickly list some of the options on this bike, because obviously BMW are masters of profiteering, so they're going to get the money out of you some way, and that's going to be through options. So you can get Enduro and Comfort footrests, a handlebar riser, which raises the handlebar up 30mm. I guess that probably make it a bit more comfortable with your tool off-road. Shift Assistant Pro, yeah, quick shift's still optional. KTM does that. Comfort rider seat high and low, a comfort passenger seat, and a sports passenger seat. I don't know why you want a sport passenger seat. I'd be interested to see what that is. You get headlight guard, you can get radiator guard, and obviously you can get approximately 30,000 items of luggage for it. Side cases, top boxes, different books. You can also get a matching rucksack for some of the soft side cases. I don't know, but it's quite cool, I guess. You can spend all your money down at Starbucks. Anyway, that is my very quick run through of the BMW R1300GS. Sorry it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I just wanted to get the facts out there and show you the bike as it was released. So yeah, if this has been helpful, hit like and go and subscribe to the channel. Leave me the German word for anti-kink. See you next time. Goodbye. Do you like my Lego Lighthouse? It's pretty cool. It does turn around if your children haven't twatted it and broken it, which they have.